On my TV?
Yes, sir.
Hey, mama. What's good with you, brother?
Not much, brother. Just, making it do what it do, man. That's all. Making it do what it do.
If you see me looking down, that's because I was reading something just before we tuned in.
Oh, okay.
You making your introduction and stuff, man? What you doing, bro?
Yeah. I'm trying to get this thing together, man.
I say, hey, welcome to the show. While you trying to get it together, man, you can't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, welcome to the show, man. I was a little distracted trying to make sure I get my intro in.
Yeah, we see that.
It's me, Sade Rakim Dohunne, with Big Muz.
Big Muslim in the house. Assalamu alaikum. Ramadan Mubarak. You know, we started fasting. We started Ramadan yesterday.
Yes, sir. It's Ramadan now. You know. It's Ramadan, so we started the Ramadan now, and that's all about getting to yourself and building up your discipline, your self-discipline, and having the empathy for others, because you're not being able to put nourishment in your body, and you have people walking around each and every day unable to put nourishment in their bodies. So you give yourself, we have homeless people, we have people who, don't have ways to come up with means to be able to put food on their table, nor a roof over their head. And we walk around every day, many of us complaining. I'm just gonna, put the intro because we ain't put the intro because we got it,
Yeah, you got to get it together, brother.
Yeah, we was running a little late. Here we go.
This is definitely a hood show. Yeah, man.
You can do what you want to do as long as you got dreams to go for. They say they can't stop me. They can't stop me. I'ma go hard. They can't stop me. My summer mind, y'all. Until the haters trying to bring me down. I love it when you turn my crown upside down. They can't stop me. I'ma go hard. They can't. You can do what you want to do as long as you got dreams to go for. They say they can't stop me. They can't stop me. I'ma go hard. They can't stop me. My summer mind, y'all. Until the haters trying to bring me down. I love it when you turn my crown upside down. They can't stop me. I'ma go hard. They can't stop me. My summer mind, y'all.
Right.
All right. They can't stop me.
They can't stop us, brother. They can't stop us. We don't have to remind them, but sometimes we got to. We got to remind them. We can't be stopped, bro.
Sometimes we stop ourselves.
Many times we stop ourselves or allow other people to stop us. But
influence to stop us. You still only can stop yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was just, thinking, man, and watching something. I was watching the Shay Shay Club. He had Steve Stout on there, and he said something about, you can't teach sacrifice, and it made me think back to when we was on the block, doing our thing out there, and it was like was able to teach cats how to have heart. Everybody didn't have to be born with having heart. You could teach a person how to have heart, but you couldn't teach a person discipline. You know what I mean? Completely, to where they was willing to make the necessary sacrifices to get what you know what we well me I'm gonna say me personally that couldn't get everybody to make the necessary sacrifice for us to put our bread together so we could buy the buildings and stuff on the block. I couldn't do that. It just made me think about that, because the whole thing of being out there was to actually never have to work for nobody. That was the whole thing about it, going out there. But when we was younger, it was just about putting some money in our pocket because we was too young to work. But then after it got past that part, it was like, okay, now let's be able to not have to work for nobody. But then as we got older, hit the 20s, I realized, like, yo, somebody got to work. You know what I mean? Somebody got to work, because we can't just use all this street money and then start buying things up if we don't got no legit money. So
Right.
that's the whole thing of like, okay, I was like, I'm willing to make the sacrifice. I'm willing to sacrifice myself and go to work, even though it's one of the last things I wanted to do, but I was willing to make the sacrifice. But
So how did you make the sacrifice? Who taught you to make the sacrifice at that time right there? Who taught you how to do that?
well, this is what I'm saying. Nobody taught me. It couldn't be taught. It
Okay,
could.
so sacrifice is the perspective of sacrifice of how you look at it. Like in the month of Ramadan, the month we're practicing right now, and as we fasting in this month of Ramadan, mashallah, we sacrificing, and it's implemented in the ritual to do these sacrifices. So it teaches us to do these sacrifices for this sake. Um, that's applied to it in order to carry out that sacrifice. When you decided to go to work and said, well, I'm gonna sacrifice this and I'm gonna do that like that, that was more like a natural instinct of a decision you wanted to make. Everybody makes sacrifices, whether good or bad, to implement a ritual to see if that sacrifice is going to be for a cause, for a movement or a people, or it's going to be for self. But sacrifice is always made. People sacrifice good to do evil. I don't think sacrifice is something actually you could be taught unless you put it in a way of a ritual where someone can repeatedly do it and say it's for this. Even if you're saving money, you got to be taught how to sacrifice, not to spend the things you need because you have to do this. You have to do this. A person will sacrifice getting a punishment to do something bad. Well, I'm gonna do this. They're gonna catch me, but I'm gonna have to do that time. They're sacrificing that. So it depends on how you place that word sacrifice. In this month of Ramadan, we sacrificing in the ritual of worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're sacrificing the food. We're sacrificing our desirable things that we want to do for ourselves. We're sacrificing it. Some things we have to be taught. How do you sacrifice the animal, or how do you sacrifice fisi bi Allah for the sake of Allah? And how do you sacrifice for yourself to get from point A to point B? Some things it's on our own decision.
Okay,
Some things
so
we have to be taught.
okay, so you're saying there are cases where you can be taught sacrifice,
You
and there are
can
other
be taught.
cases. There are other cases where there's a natural instinct that kicks in, and you just automatically do it for self reasons or for other people. Basically, that's what.
Everybody sacrifices something every single day by a decision, okay? Because when you get presented with a decision, it's a balance. It's this or that. You can't have both. So you're making a sacrifice. I'm sacrificing today. I'm not going to work. I'm sacrificing that day of my pay to stay home. Some things are implemented, bro, automatically. There's some things we have to teach to teach how to sacrifice for a certain purpose. And that's put in. However, if you come on the block, it'd be like, bro, you gotta put this much time in on the block, bro. Nah, I gotta go down here, bro. Nah, you gotta do this. This is what you gotta do, bro. and this is how you got to do it. And then you can like then you can bounce and do what you got to do. Everything. So I say it's when it comes to teaching the people in order to sacrifice to get ahead, that has to be placed as a ritual, because now you have to teach them how to be obedient to how to be obedient to something, to apply it, and what they must do in order to get from point A to point B, what they have to give up, what they have to sacrifice. But I think everybody's capable of sacrificing. Our kids, just how you going your perspective of looking at things.
Yeah,
My opinion.
no, and I think if since you put it in that line, yeah, you do make sacrifices. However, are your sacrifices uh, for yourself or are your sacrifices for others? I think that's it. And then I think to some degree, sacrifices also can be intertwined with consequences. Because as you said, if you take a day off of work, you sacrifice not going to work, the consequence is you don't get paid. You know what I'm saying? That's the consequence. That's what ends up happening. You don't get paid. Now, later on, another consequence may be you may be short on a bill that you had to pay. So now you have to weigh it out where is the sacrifice worth it in order for the consequence that's going to come after it.
Right.
You know? So
And a lot of times when we dealing with and sacrifices on different levels, Aki, when we say we want the people to sacrifice to get this done as a people, as a whole. We want to sacrifice this and we want this movement to be made. Sometimes that has to be taught. Sometimes you got to implement that as, and it becomes as something you implement into the people, and you saying this is why we got to do it this way. So and this got to be done toward this, and because of this, that has to be taught because they got to get obedient, because they're not obedient to sacrificing for a cause for something else like other than they desire, or someone for
yeah,
or someone else they desire, they're not sacrificing it for. So it's like, well, I'm going to sacrifice this for this dude I don't even know. So now you
okay,
got to teach him the purpose of this sacrifice. You understand what I'm saying?
okay, yeah. So the thing about it, if a person is willing to sacrifice for the sake of something greater than themselves, you know what I mean? And I think some people are, many people are, but then many people aren't. And the sacrifice for greater than yourself, I think more people seem to fall short of that when it comes to us as a human race. Because if more people were willing to sacrifice for the sake of the good for others rather than, of course we want to take care of our families first. Of course that comes natural, take care of yourself first. But after that's done, there's to me, there's very few people who are willing to say, okay, now that I'm good, now let me do something that can help someone else be good. And that's what me personally, I think I don't see enough of when it comes to, you know, people willing to sacrifice for the improvement of humanity. You
Well,
know?
see, now this is when this is some people that want to do something good, and they be like, I'll sacrifice this for that. Sometimes you say, brother, we need to sacrifice this and we need to get that. And they say, well, how are we going to get that done, bro? How are we going to do that? Then you explain to them how that's going to get done. So to some people, you might don't be seeing it because a lot of people don't understand and know. It's like right now, we we sacrificing this month, PCB right?
Right.
And
Right.
fasting in the month of Ramadan, and we staying away from certain things. Where did that come from? That was taught to us. That was applied to be implemented into this ritual that we do to purify ourselves physically and mentally, and a worship, to aim at something and to worship. All
Okay.
right. So we had to be taught that sacrifice for that purpose. It'd be like, yo, you got to sacrifice for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have many stories, biblical and um 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 spiritual, like religiously stories about how one had to sacrifice for this and that. And he said, how do I do that, my Lord? And he tell him what you got to do in order to do that sacrifice. So it depends, but we all take it upon ourselves each day, every day, all the time, and we're sacrificing something for our better good. We're giving up something, rather like, yo, man, I'm gonna take this break right now. Wifey sent me to the store, but I'm gonna go talk to my mom's right here. I know she going, yeah, but I gotta stop and see my man. You know what I'm saying? We sacrificing something, and it's on different levels, Aki. I mean, that's what I think anyway. So I
Okay.
think, yeah, it's hard to teach it, but it's the way
It
you
can
have
be
to
taught. You're
implement it.
saying
Of
it can
course it
be
can.
taught.
Of course it has.
If a
We
person
do it
is
every
willing.
day.
Yeah, if a person is willing. Okay, now there was something when you said we sacrifice a month. I remember being on the block, you know what I mean, that I would sacrifice a month of no stimulation, no getting high.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right,
I would do that prior to us even
right,
becoming to Muslim. I would do that for the sake to say that, okay, if I can't not smoke weed or sniff blow or drink or whatever it is, which is similar to what we're doing now. You know what I'm saying? But it was for the purpose of me being able to say, I'm in control of this. This is not in control of me. You know, so I think during that time, the preparation made this easier for me. You know what I mean? So when it comes to Ramadan, it's easier for me because I'm used to, from even being on the streets, sacrificing a month. You
right,
know, just to clear my body out and to build up my discipline. You know.
right. You see what one thing about humanity, um men and women, we've been born with such a blessing from God that you will know. And when you say I took a month off, that's because you're in connection with yourself. When you're in touch with yourself and you can hear uh your inner being, your spiritual side, the spiritual side of things that guide you and direct you. You could be guided and you could be directed because you in touch with that side. That's the fitra that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put inside everybody, that God put inside everybody. Everybody has it. To be in touch with it and connect with it, that's a whole different situation. And you could do this in very in age. It doesn't have anything to do with religion. Has something to do with what you've been blessed with and how you connect with yourself. And that guidance make you strong. Yeah, you went through the whole combat of the front line of the streets of Patterson, New Jersey. You know what I'm saying? That turned out to be like, okay, this is what, yeah, the things you said then and the things that's happening right now is a connection to it. That's a spirituality. That's something that before you engage with yourself in a religion and say, I'm going to do this religion and I'm going to do these rituals and I'm going to do this because this disciplines me at this point in my life and keeps me and keeps me on this. This is why I'm applying these. This is why I'm doing this. But you always connected. And that's the beauty of it when you know that you connect so early with yourself. Because I think connecting with self is very, very important. Because how can you hear or apply anything if you just listen to something else around you or others around you, but you don't hear yourself? And that self is what made you who you are today. So those things that you applied back then and said, well, I knew I need to take a break from this, and because you always got to be in touch with your spiritual side, yourself. You always got to be in touch with that. When we was little till now, till the day you die, you got to be in touch with that. That's gonna help you. That's gonna help mold you and shape you. And my
So
point.
so all right. So now what I get is you're saying that spirituality is different than religion. You
Of
know what I
course it
mean?
is.
So because spirituality is your personal connection with the higher power in everything around you personally. Religion is more like from the outside of what is being taught to you on how you should connect with that power.
Spirituality is like, and I'm gonna use this word. Spirituality is like the gospel of life that connects to anything that's living. So that's God. Period. Okay. So that's a different plane, and that's a different plane than religion. That's a different situation. When I learned Islam, when it was taught to me,
Go ahead.
when Islam was taught to me, coming from a 5%er, when Islam was taught to me, and it was presented as a religion. As I studied over the years, and the Sheikh taught me one time about anything you know about Islam, forget about it. And I'm gonna teach you about Islam, the way of life, the culture of Islam, not the religion Islam. Now you got to understand that Islam is not a religion, but it's put in place as a religion. The practice and rituals of certain people, like you have different levels of Islam, like you have different levels of Christianity, Buddhism, Hindu, whatever it may be. You understand? But in actuality, our spiritual side, every human being is just connected to God. And that's the spiritual side of it. What separates us from that? Understanding that religion, which causes sets, which causes different rituals of practice. And this is why we don't call Islam a religion. This is why we exile it, because it's a way of life. How is it a way of life? Because you got to look at the rituals that you perform, a purification, in order to understand that spirituality side, that gift, that light. You understand? So in order to understand that and be guided by that, as you experience yourself, that was a spiritual side. It wasn't religion when you was doing that.
No,
The
no, it
religion
wasn't done. No, that wasn't done for out of connection to no religion. No,
that
no.
was that was the spiritual side of you.
Right, right. Knowing that the lifestyle that we were living and taking something that was basically, you know, artificial, I would say. That, you know what I mean? It wasn't something that I was taking for to sustain my life like food. It was something that I was taking on a more pleasurable term, you know? So for me, it's like, okay, and social. It was pleasure and sociable. So for me, it's okay, this is pleasure and it's sociable. Now I have to be able to control my pleasure and my socialism by, being able to interact with people the same manner that if in have the intoxication or without the intoxication. What I found and when I actually started doing the intoxication, I found that it made it easier to express myself because I was shy at a point. So smoking some weed, sipping on something would give me the confidence. But then after a while, after having done it for so long, I kind of developed the confidence where I said, okay, I don't need that to display the confidence. And I think that happens to a lot of individuals now, especially entertainers. You know what I mean? A lot of entertainers seem to get caught up in the drugs, and I think they're they're shy, they're afraid. So when they take the drug, it gives them that confidence that they wouldn't have otherwise. So now what ends up happening is because they don't take the time to get to uh, detox from it and get to relate to themselves, they get caught up in the artificial self that was created by the substance and lose their true self behind the substance, ultimately becoming, what we call a addict. Go
Well,
ahead.
yeah, that's the disconnected with your spirituality, true self.
Right.
Um, we choose things because if it's like if I could psychologically, if I look in the mirror and I say, okay, this is me, I'm able to do X, Y, and Z. Some people can't do that. They can't look in the mirror, so they can never see their true essence or their true spirituality. So they need to substitute that. They need a confidence because they have it. Now they know they got it. Everybody
It's
has it.
there. Right. It's there.
So the stimulant is only letting you only letting yourself know that the stimulant is making you be more free to do these things. The
Right.
stimulant itself is just convincing you because you have something to do. It's like your ritual. If I smoke this, I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna tear this show up. If I
Right.
do this, if I'm on this nigga, I'll do anything. Just give me that. Just let me get that. If I drink, man, I'm hitting everything up in here tonight because you know how I be when I'm drunk.
Right.
That's just taking that power and putting it in something. That's like if I say nothing can touch me because God made me who I am. So nothing can touch me. That's how it is. So whatever you when you're using substances, we use it for different situations, and it's a bad situation that people get addicted to this type of situation, or people need it to be motivated. People
Right.
need it because they need to be confident, or they need but they have that
It's there.
spirituality in
It's
them
there.
already.
It's there. Of course.
Because that person didn't change.
Right.
Now
It's still the same person you were before you took the substance. Only thing, you convinced yourself with the substance that you're able to do it. So
exactly.
so now once you convince yourself that you're able to do it with the substance, now then it's just a matter of saying, okay, I was able to do it with the substance. Now let me do it without the substance.
and
That's
and
where
and,
that's
and
where
feel
that
the reality of it.
right, right.
You
And that's
understand?
where many people struggle with, with okay, because you have people say, I got to before I go in the booth and write, I got to smoke me a joint. I can't smoke,
But
I
see,
can't write
but
without that.
that's
But
it.
it's
This
a
is
mental. Go
why
ahead.
this is sensitive, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because a form of meditation to be in touch to relax yourself, because some stimulants relaxes you. So some people brain is rushing 1,000 miles an hour. Stimulation slows that process down so they could grab the thoughts that's flying by them. They grab it. Remember how used to be dusted? And you'd be
Yeah.
like, I can see everything. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Back in
right,
the day,
right.
you'd be like, yo, I see it all. You feel me?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
your
I mean,
mind be
definitely.
racing. So you have different stimulation. You have stimulation to slow your thoughts down, some to speed it up, and you be like, yo, he's speeding right now. He on Zoom. So he
Right.
passing everything, he dropping everything, he pull. You're like, man, you high as hell, bro. You stimulate. It's like you have different stimulations for every individual, and that meditation helps some people.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah. No, definitely,
So,
definitely. I can see how a person can, utilize it. And I think I'm not saying that a person is wrong for doing it. If you can utilize it in a manner where it increases you to be better than then it's
because
I mean,
everybody's not the
because
same, I
because because the reality is, for me, my personal thing is religion is something that is repetitive. That may be your religion, smoking weed, because that's your religion. You smoke weed is repetitive, but other people wouldn't agree. But that's what religion basically is: doing something repetitively. You pray, you go to church. It's repetitive. And it's mostly the same thing over and over again. So from I mean, and let's look at what with the Rastas. The Rastas used to smoke weed. That was a part of their religion.
and build a whole house.
Right. That was a part of their religion. So, who are we to say what is right for a person if it's not bringing them down? You know what I mean? If they can function and do everything that a person that doesn't do anything can do, who am I to say they wrong for doing what they're doing? You know what I mean? And I think we have to be able to do that as humans, allow people to be different and not always being so
No, no,
judgmental,
not
trying to make people
allow. Give the people. I'm sorry to cut you off. Give them their right to be different.
good word, good word.
You
I
know what I'm
mean,
saying?
good
Because
word, good word. Because words
as
makes a
we as
difference.
every
Allow meaning is like it's
individual
in your power. No, I get it. I mean,
every
give,
individual have a unique set of fingerprints.
have a God given right to live their life the way that they want to, and everyone has a God given right to be treated in a certain manner. You
Right.
know, and
Well,
so yeah. So
this is when your morals or your rituals or your practice religiously how to treat other people. So your sacrifice that I ain't gonna give him that. I'm not giving him no respect. I ain't speaking to them. That's the sacrifice. So now, because I belong to a certain group or set or I'm in a certain religion or I meditate in a certain way, I exercise this and sacrifice to make me a better person. So I'm gonna speak to them. I'm gonna do like this. I'm gonna hold this back. I'm gonna hold myself here. I'm gonna do like the right to give people the right that they owe. That makes us better when we can treat when we can give the right, the actual right to another
human
human
rights, yeah,
being,
the human rights,
to another human being. And
yeah,
that
human
is to
rights.
say, I'm giving what I want to receive. It's like some people be like, you give it to me, I'm gonna give it back to you. I'm giving you what I want to receive. You give me something back, I know you're not capable on that level. Sometimes you be like, I ain't giving it back because I'm like that. That's just conditioning. That's just trending. That's just what you picked up. You don't. Some of us don't know no better, or we just stuck in that way because we have no ideal at all. We're not even in touch with ourselves, so we think that's it. You know what I'm saying? But you got to know. Not saying that I'm gonna let you give that
Do
to me.
anything, right, right.
You know
Do
what I'm saying?
anything
I'm
till you
just
treat
saying
me any
like
type of way.
right,
Well,
exactly.
that's
Don't think I'm not a turn the cheek. Oh, I turn the cheek. Nah,
right.
we don't turn
Well,
cheeks here, baby.
that's a part of that's part of the attribute of Dohunne. Mean do unto others as you
As
wish them to do unto you. You know
right,
what I'm saying? So that's part of the attribute of taking that on. So I treat people the way I want to be treated. Now,
exactly.
there are times where it becomes universal, where okay, like you just said, if you smack me, if you smack me, now I'm gonna do you like you did me. So it
Right.
goes both ways. I'm gonna treat you like you
But
treat
what if
me.
you punch him?
Huh?
What if you punch him? If he smack you and you punch him, you right?
I did unto you the way you did unto me. It just because you initiated something.
So
You
you owe him a
initiate a
slap back.
violent act. You
You owe him
initiate
a
a violent
slap
act.
back. That's like if you shoot me and wound me, I come back and I kill you.
Right, right. Well, I mean, so if you say it like that, if you smack me and I smack you back, okay. You punch me, I punch you back, then I'm giving you exactly what you gave me, and
Right.
I think that is to me better than turning the other cheek,
Of
because
course.
we grew up in a time where okay, we had bullies. Bullies are not new. Bullies been back then. And what fueled the bully more than anything was when you didn't fight back.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? The bully thrived on you being, you know,
The
afraid to fight.
oppressor, the oppressor is going to try to oppress you. The oppressor is going to try to oppress you as long as you allow to be oppressed. So long as you allow him to oppress you, that's what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going to happen. Um, Bullies, yeah, they've been in existence for a long time, and I'm not saying totally all the time you're going to turn the other cheek. I mean, you're not going to turn the other cheek. Sometimes, for safety reasons and for certain situations, you're going to turn the other cheek. You know what I'm saying? It's being in touch with yourself. It's like if somebody do something to me, and I'm like, and you didn't. They express themselves. I'm like, it didn't harm me.
Right, right,
It didn't
right,
harm
right.
me at
Of
all.
course,
So
of course.
I'm like I'm letting that go because that did not harm me.
Right, of
I'm
course.
bigger than that. Then
Yeah, yeah,
sometimes
yeah,
you have
yeah.
to stop that situation where it's at. Be like, yo, nah. We're gonna handle this because this is where it's gonna be at. So you gotta really evaluate when it's not a bad thing to turn the other cheek, but it's a circumstance and it's a situation. It's just like I'm not gonna go get intoxicated to show you that I don't gotta turn the other cheek. So I'm gonna take all the stimulants and I'm gonna be like to build myself up. And
Right,
this is
right.
and this is again going
To
back to
cope.
being in touch with yourself. This is so much important to be in touch with your spirituality side because when we look at God and we say we in touch, but when you look at God, that's your spirituality side. You still got a worship side. Now I have a worship side, I got a spirituality side. You understand what I'm saying?
Right, 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 right,
Spirituality, we all have it.
right, right.
But we all
Spirituality.
practice we all practice different how we worship.
Right, right. And I think, like I said earlier, I think your spirituality is your personal connection to the universe and the creator of the universe, your personal connection. Because I don't think any religion teaches you how to personally connect with your creator.
It
You
can't.
that has to be the spiritual because the breath came from the creator to you, not from that religion to you. It came from the creator to you. So that's a individual thing. You know what I mean? That you have to connect with your Lord individually. So that's where the spirituality come in. And I think, too many people get religion and spirituality mixed up. And I think that's why a lot of people are not able to be in touch with themselves when the spirit is talking to them. When the spirituality is saying, look, like, for example, like a person will say, something told me not to do that, but I didn't listen. Because
Right.
now you're not connected with that spirituality. Because if you connected, when it told you not to do it, you would say, okay, I hear you. You're talking to me. I'm not going to do that. And chances are you avoid a lot of hardship
Of course you do.
that you
We
otherwise get right into because you're not listening to that. And I think we like to call it your conscience.
right, right.
We use
Well,
the word call it your conscience.
this is a lot of things that the young generation is missing. Like, how do I get in touch with that? You know, like even the language that we speaking right now dealing with that. You know what I'm saying? Like they're missing the power of things, and they're looking for it because you can see them performing other acts and doing other things that is influence to them to do. So they comprehension on it, but it's not just enough to educate them in such a manner so they can understand. Because mostly people, a lot of young people be like, I ain't into no religion, I ain't into none of that stuff. All they seeing is a battle between religions and
Sex.
differences, and
Yeah,
everybody
different
going,
sex.
I'm right, I'm right, I'm right, I'm
Right.
right. This is why we don't say Islam is a religion, because we don't we say it's a way of life. As you and I grew up and we say hip hop is a way of life.
Absolutely.
That's really that's our spirituality.
It's a culture.
Everything that made us, bro, came from what 1970, what that was 76, 77,
Yeah,
78 when
we,
we
we
got
was
into
in, we was in seventh grade.
we was in
So
seventh grade.
grade. Yeah,
When
we
we
was
when we
seventh grade.
got into hip hop, bro. You feel me?
Yeah.
And that became the law of the street of everything we function. And
Yeah.
it separated us because it gave us so much, not education, but it gave us so much spirituality. You understand? It
Yeah.
gave us so much spirituality that hip hop is just, and this is why we say hip hop is a culture.
Right. Right.
Hip hop, and that's and see, and this is another thing that, and I'm not trying to go off subject here, but this is another thing. When you say hip hop, bro, it's like so many people. It's not aimed as a group of people. It's aimed at so many people. And that's the beauty of it. And this is the touch of the spirituality side. Because when you put spirituality and when you focus on spirituality, there is no color or race.
No, no, no. Right. Right.
There's no
Because
ethnic
okay, let's
background. There's
let's
no this or that, rich or poor.
keep talking. Now.
You
Keep
know what I'm
talking.
saying? Those things is not applied when you talk about spirituality, but those things are implied when you talk about religion.
Right. Now, your point, you made a good point because,
And they're not applied when you talk about hip hop. Hip hop has no race.
No.
Hip hop
Hip
has
hop,
no
hip.
ethnic background. It doesn't have none of that.
No.
Not hip hop.
We
I'm
just
not talking
know.
about the other
We just
genres around hip
we
hop.
just can pinpoint where we say the origin, where we were introduced to it. We can pinpoint that.
Right.
Our first introduction to it. We can pinpoint that. However, it became something that was able to supersede religion, race, country, and all of that, and brought all of these people from all over the world together
That's right.
through a music, And now, a lot of times
Music is applied to it. I just want to.
it's
Yeah.
through a
It's to
music,
prove it.
it was part of a vehicle. The vehicle, because there were other vehicles of it.
Right.
Dress,
Right.
the
Right.
way you conduct yourself. So that's why
That's bringing in all the culture.
right,
That's the culture of it.
right. So that's what makes the culture, because the dress, the dance, you know
Right.
what I mean? So the way you present yourself. It was all a part of that hip hop, which now
The break dancing,
many of,
everything,
like I said, the dance, many of popping, pop
graffiti,
lock, all of that,
everything.
graffiti, all of that was a part of the culture.
That's a
So
part of the culture, right?
right. So when you look at it, it's still those of us who were there from what we say the origin. We're still here now, and I'm gonna go back to what you said. That spirit, that essence of hip hop that had us able to cross beyond racial boundaries and embrace people through spirituality and connection.
Right.
So now, with the spirituality and the connection, remember, what's inside of us is, if you take this shell off, it's an energy. That's energy. That energy doesn't have. It's like the air. What complexion is the air? What complexion is electricity? There's no complexion on air and electricity.
Right.
So that colorism thing was something that was put together by a small percentage of people who wants to profit off of everybody else.
Right.
And as long as you can keep the colorism and keep the people separated based on colorism, the puppet masters can keep everybody being like puppets. You know what I mean? They can keep, okay, long as you say that you Christian, I'm Muslim, the puppet master can pull the strings. Long as you say that you're black and I'm white, the puppet master can pull the strings. But once we come together and we say, look, we humans, and we all have a right to be in a state of being, of peace and harmony amongst each other, now the puppet master lose control. Now you
But
cut
see,
the strings.
when it comes to the puppet masters and those things that we practice in our religions, to prove the puppet masters wrong, one has a choice to make in all religions. There's diversity. I mean, like, you don't have to. This is not your enemy. The Christian is not my enemy.
No.
This person is not my enemy. See, we
No.
make a decision because a lot of us don't learn spirituality, the aspect of it. We learn text. We just learn text, black and white words. Some of us is good at it, and we repeat it. We could read it, we could define it. You know what I'm saying, and we could say it. But living it is the complete understanding to that part that you need. Because without living it, you really don't know. So you got the text, you got knowledge and wisdom.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Now, so now you got knowledge, 1, you got wisdom, which is 2. You put that together, you need what? You
It
need 3,
comes
which is the
you need to
understanding.
understand it, right?
Okay. So
Which is
with
what.
that understanding comes cultural freedom. You understand?
Yeah.
So we look at the text with knowledge, especially like nowadays, the majority of people is just wisdom. And the
Right.
wisdom, because everything is trending so fast and everybody just getting it and they're just repeating it. There's no study into it or where it come from or what could it do, or even if it's great information, what can I do with this great information that I have? And then everybody can't pass great information on because it's a way you have to deliver it to the people. Everything you have to deliver to the people in a certain manner when it comes to their connection with religions and certain
Cultural
aspects,
backgrounds
cultural
and
backgrounds and everything is that
complexion of skin and
it's so different. But
cities,
at the end of the
towns, all
day,
that.
the spirituality of life, we all are the same.
Right.
We all are the same. And one can only separate himself when he get out of that spirituality side and choose another way to start worshiping. And this is where the division comes. I worship this way. I worship that way. I worship this one. I worship that one. I worship this. I worship that. I worship this. We don't worship. We don't believe in none of that. Spirituality, Yaki, is the same as
It's
everyone else.
universal. Yeah, it's universal.
But we skip that. We skip that, and we go on to the other things, and we try to implement that. That this is where you get your spirit from. This one,
So
and this is where you get
actually,
it from.
not to interrupt you, did we skip that, or were we not taught? Were we taught something that turned us away from that?
Nah,
Because
even
many,
the slave, Akib. Go back and look at the
we're not even
slave.
talking. We're not even
But
talking
look,
slave. We're
not
not even
but
talking
now this
slave.
is what I'm saying.
We're
E-
talking. We're
Even though
talking.
they everybody knows it's in you. What God give every human being, bro, is what you said. You'll hear that voice inside your head. He get that to everybody. The spiritual side of you that's telling you. See, some things you can hear,
So
and some things you know, like you feel it, like it's the heart and then it's the mind, right?
okay, so is a better word distracted. We're distracted from it. Maybe that's a better word. We be distracted by other things outside of our spirituality that makes it easier for us not to be able to connect to our spirituality due to the things that going on around us. As you say, things are moving fast. So if I was brought up and I'm told, look, you're a Christian, you know what I mean? And you can't get to God unless you go through Jesus. You know what I mean? So now I'm looking up to Jesus, trying to connect to God when really it was already in me to connect to God. So
Right.
that's what I'm
But
saying. So I'm saying
that's practicing a religion and something now, and then now you're implementing something else because you're saying spirituality, but now you're bringing man into it. You
well,
understand? So you got to understand the spirituality of man when it comes to God and the connection between God and man and the purpose of the connection between God and man. And you cannot have that without that spirituality, and everybody has it. You don't have to go through any. It's the separation of things and the condition that we're taught when it comes down to separation and the religion. It's like I can't even have an opinion about that. Then I'm getting back like, oh, you don't believe in this, you don't believe in you this, you that. But if you believe in it, listen to what you're saying. You're demeaning me. That's your religion. I don't have a right. You're supposed to. Your religion is supposed to oversee any wrong thoughts that I'm doing and be like, brother, you have your right. Let me explain you what we practice. How can
right,
I be invited if you just going, oh, you going into this and you gonna
you're
do
going
that,
to the
you do that,
hellfire, and,
you
and,
gonna
and
do
that's
that, you
in
gonna do
that's
that.
in and both major religions I've seen that being done,
Of
where
course.
on one side or the other, if you didn't agree with that individual, you going to the hellfire. You know what I'm saying? And that's both sides, both as a Muslim and a Christian, I've seen it done. So I mean, you're right. And I think spirituality will help us connect in a manner that we are disconnected with now. And you know, earlier I posted something, and it was about, you know, can all of us come together and put aside our religious, uh, ethnic, and our political views and come together and as a whole to strive for peace amongst each other. You know what I mean? And amongst that, with that peace would also be harmony.
See,
You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
gonna sound crazy when I say the only way I see that happening. What in today 2024, all right, 2024 right now. I'm gonna be 100 with you, bro, because you know I don't hold nothing. For people to come together and be on the same level and understand the spirituality side and the life side of humanity, of us as a people,
Right.
there's only one thing that I see that can ever, and that's happening, that I see that we can relate to every white dude, every Korean dude, every Spanish dude, every German dude, every Polish dude, everybody from that state of that era of the 60s that we were born in. There's only one thing that was given something that in such a way, man, and that's so powerful,
So you're gonna say hip hop?
because yeah, because see, you got to remember Africa Bambaataa, man, when they
You're
came
gonna
out,
say hip
man.
hop? Okay.
You understand, and the gathering of going to Berlin, going to Paris, going all over the world and seeing people exercise hip hop at those times, breakdancing and not even knowing the language of English or nothing, but we could relate to everything on one common core. No color barriers, no religious barriers, no barriers at all, Aki. No barriers at all. And we relate to you got Crips, Bloods, Latin Kings, five percenters, you got all Black Spades, you got all these people in one common, all loving hip hop. The truth of life. They loving hip hop. That's the true essence of what we were given. That's a gift that we were given. Like throughout my journey of being Muslim, I was told so many things about music. I remember Khalis from Kool and the Gang, may Allah have mercy upon him, um, uh, told me, and Rashad Muhammad told me about with music, with Islam, and they gave me a book and they said, you got to read this. When I went in the studio, they was like, "Yo, read this." You understand? And then they was starting to tell me the people that was Muslim and doing certain things and everything. But I went on my journeys and I dealt with a whole lot of things when it came to the music and the Islam and all that. So if anybody want to know, just hit me up and then we can get into it. But I'm not gonna bring that up right here, right now. And but in this journey, man, the hip hop, how powerful, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us something that can't be defined. Where's hip hop now, bro? Right here still, right?
Yeah, it's
Still
still
to
here.
today, right?
Still here. It's still
Right.
here. It's
Right.
still
Hip
here.
hop. I'm not talking
And-
about
and-
the
right,
genres that
right.
come from hip
It's
hop.
still here. Now,
Right.
I want to say something now. Music, period, has been able to cross boundaries. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Even soul music. People have been able to travel all over the world with music, period. I think hip hop just defined the music and brought something other to it, which was the culture. You know
It
what I'm
brought the
saying?
culture.
Which was the
Exactly.
culture, because it wasn't just the music, it was also a way of life behind it that created the music,
Right.
that helped the music
Exactly.
to exist. So I think that's what makes hip hop different from any other genre of music, you know. And I see right now to some extent, country music is kind of falling in line with the way of crossing the boundaries and bringing people together now. I see
Right.
that with the country music too.
See these music about life and its perspective, and that's what you see. You hear a lot of rappers, and they talk about the street life, and for many reasons. I mean, like it sells. People's trying to get paid. You feel me? Um, so it's like when you say country music, you're looking at another culture.
Right, right. This is what I'm saying. That's why I mentioned country music
Right. You're
because
looking at
it has a
a
culture
very
behind it. Has a culture behind it.
right.
So this is why I brought country music up because
And that
it
also evolved into hip hop, positive and negative.
absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely,
which is that becomes our choice. And you got to understand that in life, the battle of spirituality is always going to be there because it's always within ourselves to balance good and evil. You know what I'm saying? We balancing ourselves every day with good and evil. So for it not to exist or not to be there, that's not gonna happen. It's always gonna be there. So when you hear music and you be like, oh, the music is negative, the music is this, but that's a choice. So if you tell me that there is no God, I suppose to just accept that? Or that your spirituality, that's all nonsense. I suppose to just accept that. Or do I know for sure that that's not it? And this is what we have to do when it comes to music. We got to be like, see, we you write a song or you write a screenplay and you put it on the screen. What are you showing? Oh, it's a moral to this. It's how people came up and it's how people I we came up in Patterson, bro. You understand? At the worst times of whatever, bro, was going down. You understand?
right,
So we made choices and we did things. You understand?
right,
But in a positive aspect of things. You understand? Destroying evil and cultivating positivity. Elevating. You understand?
right.
Destroying negativity and building on positivity.
Yeah,
You
destroy bill.
understand?
Yeah,
So
destroy bill.
when we listen to and then we take everything as as simply simple. Like, okay, you got the right to make any kind of song you want. I'm into music. You understand? Always been since you knew me. You feel me?
Right,
Um, you have a right to make what kind of content you want. And it's something like what you said earlier. The consequences of that might be rewarding to you, but damaging to a lot of other spirituality, spiritual souls, not just individuals, because
right,
consciously and subconsciously, as we take in these vibes and the frequencies that we take in, it molds us, bro.
right. Because we have energy. Right,
Because we're there you go,
energy.
Aki. That's
Right,
why it affects us. That's why they use it so much. Because your frequency, Aki, your spirituality side ain't got nothing to do with if you choose and bro, I am a dude that's obedient to ritual, religion, as my spirituality side, and as I practice rituals to stay and use them for my own purposes and my gains and my pluses.
right,
At the same time, I'm culturally bounded spiritually to hip hop music, to music, period. You understand? So and that frequency gives me the choice. When I make a joint about doing this and doing that, it don't sit well. Then I redo it and I rewrite it and I make it more positive and it sit well. Everything is with choice. And that frequency that they putting out in music and how hip hop is. This is why we don't say that's why we say rap music
right, right, right,
and we
right,
say hip hop and we say country music, we say
right,
rock music, we say pop music,
right,
we say heavy metal,
right,
okay, because of the different frequencies that they send out. Hip hop stands in a class by its own self because in all those genres will come to hip hop. will find its way to hip hop. Hip hop don't find its way to those genres. Those genres, because why? Because hip hop is a spirituality. It sends out light, Aki. It brings you in. So now you have country music implementing hip hop. You have metal implementing hip hop. Every genre implements hip hop, bro. And it took the soul. Remember what hip hop was
Well,
made
it
from?
was based off the soul music.
The soul music,
The
Aki.
soul music. That's where it came from.
That's where
That's
it came
that's
from.
where it came from. The soul music.
The
Even
soul
though
music.
somehow the soul music disappeared, but it still remains in hip hop because it's the
Well, when
soul of hip
well,
hop. Well,
not to
the
take
name,
you
the,
somewhere else, not to
huh?
take you somewhere else. But when the
Go ahead.
soul music disappeared, who disappeared with it? Okay, the soul artist, right?
Right,
Okay, so now I hear some people saying, if you hear singing in hip hop or you do this in R&B now, that's old. These people are so disconnected with what trends and how the world moves so fast that they disconnect themselves with the spirituality. How are we going to eliminate all those soulful singers, all those soulful musicians, Aki,
right,
and replace them with a MIDI group or a stem of this and that? Look at all our foundation that
right,
we
right.
disconnected away from, Aki.
Yeah, yeah.
When
It's soul.
sampling
It's
brought
soul.
them more on the surface.
Right,
You
right, right.
understand? Soulful music,
Rem-
jazz music, man.
And what
We
and
don't
what was it?
implement none of that no more.
And what was it? That was the spirit, the music that connected to your
Yeah,
spirituality.
exactly,
And
exactly,
gate and the music was giving you guidance,
exactly. Yes,
proper guidance,
I agree
where
with you, Aki.
where now the music is misguiding you. It's being used to misguide you a lot of times now in more of a negative way,
In more of a negative way.
in a more of a degrading way, in more of a separated way, where that's that's what ultimately happened. So because we know the origin of hip hop was from the soul music, now those of us who are from the hip hop, what is the best thing to do? To bring that soul music back with them
Keep
hip
doing,
hop. Then
keep
continue
doing hip
doing
hop.
it.
You
Right,
are, even my grandchildren, man. They so disconnected with the musical side. Like if I do a track and I put some samples in, or I go old school, or I have a melody in it, they think I'm so far gone,
right.
right?
Yeah, yeah. You're lost.
Then
You
how can
lost.
I be gone, or how can I not produce a track when I could just snatch stems and edit them and just let them run? Like who
Right,
can't do that?
right, right,
When do you have musicianship and creativity? It's like I'm gonna compare artistry and music and production like a graffiti artist. Everybody can't do graffiti art.
right, right.
See,
Yeah.
everybody can't tag, bruh.
Oh well, right.
You understand? That's an
Everybody
art.
can't pop
That
lock.
everybody can't pop lock, bro.
Yeah.
Everybody can't MC,
Right,
but a lot of people can rap. You
right,
understand?
right,
Sometimes a rap song only takes a small verse, and what the what you sending out, the vibrations that you sending out in the world where all this spirituality exists and what it's tagging into and what it's shaping you to. When you don't even have that knowledge of that connection and those negative waveforms and that dark music. You see how music is right now, man? Everything is dark. Everything is dark, 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 dark. They're using Jersey music right now. Jersey music is popping right now. That's been out since forever, right? And
right.
they making it so dark, right? And all the songs is in that dark frequency that displays for that spirituality to be dead, to be
Condemn it.
dead. So
Condemn
now
it.
when I
Yeah.
speak on hip hop, oh, we don't do hip hop. Hip hop, oh, that's from old school. Nah, brother.
Hip hop is the
Nah,
origin of what you do. So
nah.
that's like saying, oh, here I am. I'm 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 a rapper, but I don't have no soul. My soul is gone. You know what I
Well, yeah.
mean? So that's what they're doing with the hip hop. They removing the soul of the music, and now they're being basically plastic. empty. You know what I'm saying? They're being empty because you're not moving on nothing that gives you a foundation, because your foundation has been thrown to the wayside because you're just focusing on, I want to rap. I want to be famous. I want to make money.
Well,
You
when
know
they
what I
show
mean?
you being
I want
famous
materialistic.
is connected to the when you they show you that being famous is connected and having that money and that bling is being connected to having that body over there of your brother, of your cousin, of your own, shooting up everything. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? When they show you that connection, that's what you say, that's what you sacrifice. You say, well, I want that. So I'm gonna
Mhm.
sacrifice all that stuff, man. What you talking is nonsense, bro. I want that bread right now. You understand? Not knowing what they're riding on and how deteriorated they're getting inside. You know how the mold is taking over all their cells and how it's being taken over. You know, and how it's so hard to wipe that off and to come out clean.
Right.
It's that's a sticky mold. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't get that off of them and come out clean. Some people end up in very, very bad situations.
Absolutely.
Choosing when you know, like it's like the spirituality side of all of everybody. We come into that wall where we hit a wall and we go, all right, I need to change up. You have that gift to change up.
Basically, the crossroad. You had that
It's us
crossroad.
that is not in touch with self that can't change up. We scared. Because we presenting ourselves in a physical form to the world.
Right.
So physically, I gotta have the bling on, I gotta have the watches on, I gotta have the car, I gotta have this. Nigga, I ain't even man, I'm dry as hell right now. And I'm on air.
Well, I got a little,
I
but
mean, like, but
that's a
I
little
am who I am.
right,
That don't make me. You know, I'm
right. And it
already
don't
made,
make
nigga.
me. It don't
I'm
make
already
me.
made.
Right.
Exactly. So I'm already made, bro. None of that makes me. See, and that's what we got to get. And the spirituality, understanding that who are you with that such power, with that such strength, with that such connection to the rest of the universe. Wow, that's deep. Now, if as I practice my rituals and as I choose to practice, and I'm meditating, I'm meditating in my cipher, I'm meditating my energy to share that energy with everybody that's radiant. So when they come across me, some people I don't like that, brother. It ain't that you don't like me, dude. It's just that you can't receive this energy because you blocking it. You
Right.
blocking it. You
Right.
scared of it. You scared to be like, I want for my brother what I want for myself. Alhamdulillah. You scared of that.
Absolutely.
You want conflict. You want conflict. But don't you know energy could just strike your ass down? Pardon me, I'm stuff around. You know what I'm saying? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? You know I'm better. Listen.
I mean, I mean, the reality is, look, many people are blocking their energy because they are being consumed or distracted by things or substances, outside frequencies that dims their energy, that dims it, and to some people are really just deleting it. Like you say, when you can come in a room and you can see a person just by looking at them physically. Forget the bling. You know what I
Right.
mean? You can see the bling on their face. You
Exactly.
know what I'm saying? You can see the bling by the way they move around. But many people are being misled by the objects or the perception of being perceived as something that really is a flea in the moment.
But
And
see,
and that that
this
go
was
ahead.
in the early days, and when I was coming up, and I used to go to church and everything. Idolatry was forbidden. So
Absolutely.
you couldn't have those things of attraction of the worldly life, as they call it, which you couldn't have them to the point where they become a worship. Okay,
Right.
you can have it like they got this thing like when your pants is below your ankle, you dragging in the hellfire. For say a lot of people hear about that or know about that saying. And is that the intentions of me to be arrogant when I'm doing that? Do you know my intentions? Sometimes we have these blings on, and it's a sign of of some people like me. I like watches. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
But I don't got to come up here and show you my collection of watches
right, right, right,
because that's not gonna make me. You understand? It's a
right, right,
watch.
right,
It's
right,
it's
right.
it's, it's a
For
watch. It has
time,
no
it's for
soul, no
time.
nothing.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
for
if I
time.
lay it in a drawer and keep it there forever, it'll collect dust and soon it'll stop running.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right,
So it has nothing. When I put it on and I give it what it should. Oh, look at this. This is this. This is this. Because a person looks at me now in comparison to what I'm wearing, especially if I put a number on it. This watch is worth blah 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 blah. Now I'm somebody. You understand?
right, right. Based on the perception that has been put into the frequency to be delivered to the people.
Exactly.
You
When we
know.
all are, we all are somebody. Period.
Right, right, right.
How
With
can you
those,
not be special? Tell me. Let me tell you something, bro. It's like, how can you not be special and unique when you have your own set of fingerprints, all yours, all by yourself, bro? You don't share it with nobody. They only yours. So how you not can be special? We take ourselves on a level and we let the physical world come into our spirituality and block it. And now we deal with a physical world. So we chasing a physical world that you ain't never gonna catch. You know what I'm saying? You ain't
right,
gonna catch that physical world because it's trial and errors in this physical world. And some trials and errors good to make you even better, to get closer to your spirituality side. Because
absolutely,
after you try and try and try, sooner or later you're gonna be like, I need to grab something. I need to meditate. I need to pray. I need to worship. This ain't working for me. So now you're finding the inner side of yourself, the strong part of yourself. Now you're meditating and you're trying to connect with the strong part of yourself. So when you desire these things, you got you got enough spirituality, enough strength to say nah, because everybody's negative and positive. It's the choice we make to move on the negative and positive. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
It's the
That's true.
choice, and that's with music. That's with sacrificing. That's with the whole everything,
That's the whole life in general.
the
Life
whole
in
life
general.
in general. And
And,
this
and
is why I love hip hop because I get to experience how powerful it is when I see German, the brother rocking in a different language, and he bringing hip hop about making a move, about changing the policies in this country, and how he has in Korea and in China. When you see all these people, and you be like, some people go, they taking everything away from us. No, the spirituality is showing you that it's level with everything else. That's the plane you need to be on. See, we still down here. We still trying to control things or take possession of things and say we have ownership and we're this. Spirituality, it's a whole different level. It's not religion. It's not your sets. It's a whole different hierarchy. Inshallah, it's a
yeah,
whole
yeah,
different.
and it's based on the frequencies. And many of us, due to many different things from what we eat to what we listen to what we
Yeah.
read, all of these things have an effect on our frequency. You know what I'm saying? And so once we start to understand that, and then we start to be aware of things that increase our frequency and lower our frequency, then we can become better able to function on a higher level of self in a higher frequency. And those of us who start to function on that higher level of self and that higher frequency, we start to connect. We start to
Do,
connect with
what
each
do you
other.
think separates when one receives a frequency from music or television show or whatever, uh
Somebody asked us, "Do we watch something?" They just left a message. Do we watch? I didn't see the last word of what they just asked. Do we watch? It's something. Something. It was with a C. I missed the last word. It escaped me. But go ahead. Go ahead. You know,
What do you think? Um, is what motivates you to make that frequency choice? Like, what do you think causes that? Like, you receiving frequencies and you choose this and you choose. You got a choice. Like, what motivates you to something negative or something positive?
I think for me personally, what motivates me is it says the cricket. Watch the ball bounce or the ball games or something. Somebody put, but for me, it's what motivates me to rise to a higher level of self is seeing those around me and being able to want to interact with people and then sometimes having a problem interacting with them due to communication differences. So it causes me to say, well, I got to increase my frequency because if I communicate with someone and something they say gets me angry, then I'm saying I'm not functioning on a higher level, a higher enough frequency because what they say to me, I should be able to dissect and find out maybe what they're saying that got me angry is not the fact that what they said, it may be something that's within me, that the way that I took it. I might have taken it in a manner that caused me to get angry, even when they didn't even intend to make me angry. They may have been saying something just because it was something on their mind that they wanted to express to me. So that is one of the things that helped me want to raise to a higher frequency so that I can be able to mediate within myself when something's going on around me to bring harmony within my circumference.
So when you hear, okay, like in today 2024, where we at, and the influence, the biggest influence that's going on right now online or anywhere, is music is a very, very powerful source, it's a big influence, you
Right,
know, and this is why we have blessed with things of hip hop to battle the other genres that take us in the other direction. You feel me? That's what I feel. That's my own opinion. You feel me? But it's like we have choices to make when we hear these things and to be on that frequency. Sometimes it's so influential that we just think it's a good time. Some of us don't know the differences between the negative of influence. We think it's just like it's just a song or
right,
it's just
right,
this, you
right.
know. And when it come time to act it out, a lot of people run from it. Then they be like, "You got to be real in the game." I think back in the day, remember how you used to be like, "You got to keep it real."
Right, right, right,
See, a lot of things we introduce culturally to a society is not always good. Keeping it real. Sometimes keeping it real becomes the reality that you wish that wasn't so real. You understand? Because keeping it real, like it's real out here. Okay, now we've been in the streets for a long time, and not just one street. Like people might think, oh, they just been there in they town or they way. Nah, we don't travel, so we seen a lot of things. So we watched the street change.
absolutely.
We know when the hood became the hood and came from into being a ghetto. You
Yeah,
understand?
well, yeah,
Because and it's two different meanings. Because when it became the hood, a lot of separation came. But when it was the ghetto, people was looking out for each other.
yeah,
You
right,
understand?
yeah,
So it's a difference in receiving these frequencies and and acting upon them and understanding where they come from and what they can do. And a lot of people today, they listen to you listen to the majority of music that's in front of you, that you don't choose, that you just listening to, is negative. It's just negative. Um, and this is not hip hop. You know what I'm saying? This is more of other genres that surrounds hip hop, you know? But they're stories. And I'm not saying they're not stories of true stories of life or what happened to people. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
But
right.
they become a lifestyle of trending, and it
Well,
cuts off a frequency of people and or the spirituality of people and give them like, this is what it is because it's in front of them. It's only in front of them. See, nowadays, that, oh, this is on the radio, this is that, bro. You could trend and choose your own music.
yeah,
You
and
don't
you're
have to
not.
listen and follow things.
Yeah, um,
You understand?
yeah, yeah. Not to interrupt you, I think it becomes like a lot of it becomes like instructions. You know what I mean?
Of course.
They listen to these songs, and they become instructions of to what to do and how to do it. And the instructions normally is chaos, you know. And so now I get where you was how you tied it into keeping it real because it has gotten to a point within the rap that's been intertwined into hip hop where they want to be able to keep it real and they want to be able to rap about a song and then go do it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
That's
So,
what's being
so,
implemented now.
right,
Because
right.
you have you have a
Right,
generation following that what is being
right. So
implemented.
now it's you keeping it real. If I say I done shot 4 people, now I got to keep it real and go shoot 4 people. You know what I'm saying? When ultimately it was hip hop started off you telling stories of where you was at, where you wanted to be, and where you could be. It was all different things. You know what I mean? It wasn't okay, you just telling one side of the story. No, you're telling multiple sides of the story to be able to actually, I like to say, to get hip enough to hop out of the negative environment. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Where
see, but
these guys are up out of the negative environment. They've hopped out of the negative environment, but they're hopping back in
all right,
the negative environment.
let me ask you
Go ahead.
this. If you were the author of a book, if you were the author and you had to write a book, and I say, you got to tell a nice story, so you got to go write this book. So you go and you try to write the book. You understand?
Right,
And it's difficult for you to write this book because you got to get your story right, you got to get your synopsis, you got to get the characters in this book, and you got to tell a story, and you got to sell the story, right? If i if i if i tell you, write me a story why you love being an author, you know what I'm saying? If I tell you to write me a story why you love being an author.
right. Salute to you. Somebody just saluted us. Salute to them.
Assalamu
Yeah.
alaikum. Huh? Tell me an author of, I mean, like, right? If I tell you two things, write me a story,
Right,
okay? And now you got to gather characters, the plot. You understand?
right,
The motive, and that you got to write a whole synopsis about the story.
right,
If I tell you to write me a story of why you love being an author, you just start writing. Now, the difference is this: in hip hop, when it first came, right, we had skills of what made us to be that mic controller. We had to tell stories. It was skills we were speaking on. Go listen to hip hop. You're gonna hear why I could control this mic, bro. You're gonna hear skills. When we get into the storytelling and we don't have stories to tell, we got to create them. We
Right.
gotta make stories.
Right.
So now we into telling stories. Now we gotta tell the stories. Now I got some information about this what happened here, this what happened here, this happened to my cousin, this what happened. So now I'm putting that out there. So now all these bad things happen. But I put it in such a rhyme. I put skills to it, but I put it in such a rhyme. But it ain't about me. It ain't a battle of when we battling, I'm not telling a story. I'm battling against you. I'm telling you my skills against you, bro. This is where I'm at. So now it's like I gotta tell a better story than you. So if one person died in your story, I gotta make sure at least 6 people died in this story. You see where I'm going?
Yeah. And see, for me, if it just remained at that, then I could overlook that part. But what's happening is the same ones who putting the story out either end up being a casual of the story, or people in their circumference end up being casuals to
Well,
the
that's when it came. Remember,
story. Going
again
back
with
to
our
what you said,
generation,
keeping
keep it
it real.
real.
Then see, and
What?
that's yeah.
Listen,
Go
I remember what you. Man, I remember back in the day, bro. Be careful what you want for. Remember when they were going to the um the right to say what you want in hip hop.
Oh yeah, during the freedom of speech
Yeah.
thing
Remember
between
that.
NWA and all of them,
Right.
Uncle
I
Luke, all
remember.
of them, right?
I remember.
Even Public Enemy was in on that.
Yeah. But I
Yeah,
remember Chris, KRS-One.
right,
I remember him saying, "Be careful what they give you. Everything ain't good.
right.
Be careful." And as we won, and you was able to say what you want, that thing went downhill fast.
Absolutely,
It went
absolutely.
downhill fast.
It
A
came.
lot
It
of
came.
people ain't gonna understand where I'm coming from, where it went downhill fast. I'm not talking about multiplying riches and selling platinum albums. I'm
No,
talking
no,
about
no.
the
Morally,
degradation of a community.
morally, morally,
It morally.
morally. Morally, it went to a whole level, and back on frequency, it went to a whole lower frequency of making music. The frequency became lower,
You know
and
how you know it was different? You know, I mean, like me being in music for so long, it's my I got my own opinion. Um, because hip hop is still here and you have genres surrounding it, but they can't call themselves hip hop. So
right.
that's how you know
So
how
you
different it
have
is.
you have
It's a
you have
different whole
branches.
element.
You have branches from the tree, different
But you
branches,
don't you
different branches.
cannot call yours if you ain't
Right.
doing hip hop is like a ritual where you have to apply certain things. It's attached to certain things. Like
Yeah.
when you
Branches
say
are
hip
different
hop,
fruit.
you remember Beat Street and you remember all the graffiti and the break dances.
Right.
When you
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about hip hop, you talking about pioneers and you go back and so deep and where it started. Nothing can compare with that.
No,
Now,
no.
when you say that different genres are like rap music or
What
trap
they got?
music or
Drill
drill
and other
music,
stuff. Yeah.
but see, it's like like one I heard drill music a long time ago. It was a long time ago, but it was political
Mm, okay.
because at the time that country was making a move with their government officials and stopping oppression.
Right.
So that's where I know that drill music coming from when it came from overseas. You understand? That I knew it was a tool to fight their oppression.
Right.
And that's what they used it for. You know what I'm saying? I don't know now to today, like, cause everything trends. You know what I'm saying? Everything trends. So lyrically, everybody changes everything just because everybody's trying to get on, man. Everybody's trying to make a buck. They might don't mean it, but I'm gonna put this out here. I'm gonna make up what? This story. I'm gonna make up this story. I'm gonna make up this story. We don't make. Remember back in the day when we used to make what was that the 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 hip hop shows that dealt with rhyming skills and they battled and they had dance battles and things like that. We don't show that sunshine, that spirituality of things. We show we show our music in a negative aspect now, reaching a negative as and we all got life. Life is serious. But what we implementing on each generation that's coming, you got your gatekeepers, you know what I'm saying? That's paid very, very good and that has influence over people like to get millions and millions of views while you struggle to get 10 views. They get
Right,
millions and millions of views, man. You feel me? People are interested in lies, deception, and storytelling. You know what I'm
right.
saying? They're interested in storytelling.
And that brings me to another saying that is, that's in the community that I hear that I don't agree with. If it makes money, it makes sense. That's one
Quad.
of the.
My brother used
Yeah, and
yeah.
so it made me think about that when you started saying, people putting this music out, you know what I mean, and they making money, but is it really ultimately making sense with what's the repercussions behind it
Well,
of
now
what's
we go
happening?
back to the very beginning of this topic. That's the sacrifice they doing, bro. Because they don't want to be in a situation when life when life get confuses you and you're not in touch spirituality and you're confused and you out here and you trying to hang on and you trying to make something happen and you don't have the they I'm not gonna say you don't have the things to make things happen. A lot of things, entities, companies, or however you want to, won't accept your things that can make things happen and you have to take another route, you have to do something else. So you look at the internet, social media now, and you see all these people with all these degrees, and then you see, I'll be like, wow, they do, at least they made it work for them online, you feel me? At least they made it work for them. They went to college and they didn't get nothing and they started their own channel. At least they made it work for them, so it wasn't a waste. You know what
Right,
I'm
right. They
saying?
found another way to utilize it. Right,
Right. So I know it is. I know because I come from the same place where you got to struggle and you looking for something to make your life change over and do something. And you got to be willing to do something that doesn't cost much. And that's just knowledge, bro. Wisdom. Bring about understanding. You got to be willing to also contribute contribute, yeah, and not take away so much just for financial gain. All the money that cats got, or and I'm not getting off the subject because I gotta go break my fast, brother. So
yeah, we both do. We both do.
but all the money that we have as black success, women and men, okay, and I know there's some because I know one in Philly, so I'm not saying there's not none, okay, but there should be many supermarkets. Not a brand in the supermarket, a supermarket so we can go to a supermarket and afford the food. As a people, we don't have that. You understand? And look at all the money we done generate. You got rappers on here that have more bling that they'll go and buy and brag about how much they spent for a piece. You understand? That
Well,
can't do
right.
nothing. That
And
can't do nothing but influence you and convince you. And I'm not knocking that, bro.
right,
I
right.
listen.
I
I
mean,
ain't no hater, bro. You want to
no,
do
no,
what
that
you want
goes
to do.
back to rights. Everybody has a right to do how
Everybody
to
has
do
a
their thing.
right.
Right.
You understand? But what I'm saying is, look at the mindset.
Frequency that they
You know what I'm
function.
saying?
Right.
I think this is it. And now you trending and having these kids think the same thing. So now who's getting rich by doing that?
Well,
And I'm not knocking no
we're
jewelers.
going back to when we first started, was talking about the puppet masters
Right.
and certain people being puppets used by the puppet master for what? So the puppet master can stay in control. That's what's happening. And many people are being used. Some people are gatekeepers and they knowingly are gatekeepers. And some people are gatekeepers and don't even know it. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, brother, we gotta end this. This has been a great convo, man. And looking forward to the next time. And for those of you who watched it, who are watching, hopefully you enjoyed yourself. And just press the notification button so that you will be alerted whenever we come on again and for any other new content that drops. And also subscribe to the channel, Peep Game TV. And also subscribe to my brother. Tell them where they need to,
JY's Entertainment.
you know.
JY's Entertainment. Also buy Sunflower Roastmaster Coffee. Sunflower.com. Best coffee you could drink. Yo, my wife said my lips is ashy, but bro, look, I just jumped up on here, so y'all better not be talking about my lips is ashy, bro, because I wasn't
She,
smoking no crack.
well, she
I
just
wasn't
texted you.
smoking.
She just texted you that.
Yo, man, I love you.
I mean,
Inshallah,
love
I'ma
you too.
holler
Huh?
at you, man. You know what I'm saying, and we should do this, man. Like and
I
it's a
when
good thing, brother.
yeah. Hey, look, whenever you're ready, man, we can do it. Hit me up, and
Yeah,
we can
inshallah.
do it. I don't care if we can do it every day if you want to do it, man.
Yeah, inshallah, man. I'm gonna write some things down so we can really like start targeting it and speak about things like what we can do. What we can do as two men on this platform. What can we do as two men?
Absolutely.
Inshallah. You feel me?
Inshallah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Because we is something that we could do. You feel me?
Oh
We
yeah,
still
yeah,
living.
yeah, yeah,
You feel
yeah.
me?
Look, we 10 toes above ground, bro. As long as we 10 toes above ground and we're mobile, then we still in the game, man. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
baby.
saying?
That's what I feel, baby.
Yeah, we
All
still
right.
in the game. All right.
All right, my brother. Salam alaikum, brother. Peace to
Walaikum
y'all,
salam.
man. Be careful, be true, and be free.
Love, peace,
Man,
truth,
turn the thing
and
off, man. I gotta go.
prosperity.